In this lesson, we're going to take a look at Peach again, and this time we're going to look at a slightly more complicated data model and a different state algorithm. We're still using XML. So in this case, we're going to take a look at smtp.xml, and it's going to try to spoof an SMTP exchange. Again, we've got the top here, we're saying it's XML version 1, and the encoding is UTF-8 and Peach. We've got the start of the XML here, and now I've got some data models. My first data model here actually is I'm going to use the SMTP command ehlo. And I'm going to say that's a token because I don't want to fuzz that. What I do want to fuzz is what would normally be the domain name, and we're going to do some different strings in there. And now I'm going to send a carriage return line feed, and I'm going to say that's a token. I've got some similar things here. I've got from, I've got a to. You can see it's a mail from and a sender. And I'm allowing the SMTP command to just stand on its own. It's the parameter that goes with that we're actually going to be doing some fuzzing with. Now, I've actually created another one here called response, and that's actually just to get the response back from the server. Let's get done looking at our data models, and I do have a mail body here where I send some data, and I'm just fuzzing a lot of garbage into the mail body, and then we're going to send the mail along. Now, the state here, this is where I actually specify the order that things are going to go in. My first one is an output, and I'm going to use the ehlo or ALO data model, and then we're going to get a response back from the server. Then we're going to send the to, get a response, send the from, and get a response, and the mail body, and actually it looks like I've got a little typo here. Let me just fix that. So we'll go down to the state model here, and rather than sending two tos, we're going to send a from before we send the to. The data model reference here is going to be from. Let's just finish looking at this with VI. So you can see the state model here is actually far more complicated than it was with just the HTTP, where I was just simply sending one HTTP request. Now here with this state model, I'm doing a lot of interaction with the server. And I've got my agent here set up with the crash monitor. And now I've got my test. And in this case, I'm doing the state again. I've got my agent and I've got my TCP client. We're going to connect to port 25. I'm still going to use a random strategy, and I'm going to do some logs. Let's get out of this. And now we can run Peach with the SMTP here. smtp.xml. We're starting that up, and we're doing some iteration through here and not really getting much of anything in the way of a crash. I'm going to kill this in just a little bit and see if we can take a look at the mail log and see if we've got anything in there that's of any particular interest. But you can see we're just skimming through iterations here, and Peach is handling all of the fuzzing for us, all of the generation of random data elements and all of that. Let me just kill that. And now I want to take a look at the mail log. So you can see here we've got some non-SMTP commands where it looks like it found some things that it didn't really like. And we've got a lot of lost connections and improper command pipelining, a lot of different things here that apparently it doesn't like very much. Again, we didn't get a crash here, but I could keep running that and it would just keep running. And maybe eventually we'd turn up something that would cause a problem with this particular mail server. Although, given the fact that this is Postfix, and Postfix is a pretty solid mail server, I would suspect something as reasonably basic as this we're not going to turn up an awful lot from. Now, if you had run across a homegrown mail server, for example, we may be finding bugs all over the place. But that's how you would do fuzzing with a slightly more complicated state model and be able to do some interactions with the server using Peach. And again, all you've got to do is be able to write some XML, which is reasonably straightforward, and understand how the protocol works and what you're actually generating Once you've generated the XML and told Peach what everything looks like, Peach takes care of the rest of the work for you.